myself is that I did not want my kids to grow up, without both parents in the home. And, I was just afraid that, they would experience the pain that I felt. And I was also afraid because I had girls, I had, young daughters. And because of all the things that I went through in my childhood, being molested multiple times, I was just afraid to have my girls around any man. I just did not trust, having another man in my life. And so I just, that was the story that I was telling myself. And what happens with a lot of us is we try to get through life as an adult with all this baggage that we never unpacked, never understanding why our relationships don't work out. It's because we never unpacked. You never unpacked the pain from your childhood, and then you're going around as an adult trying to, as they say these days, adult. It's hard to adult. You're trying to make it through life as an adult, and you never unpacked all of the baggage that you accumulated, from your childhood. And so that is a lot of the reason why we end up in abusive relationships, because we didn't unpack all the pain that we experienced, as a child, and then going into relationships as an adult and you experience more pain. So we got all this baggage that we never unpacked. And, after my divorce, I was determined that I was going to draw closer to God, because I had really had enough of, this pain that I was feeling. All I wanted was for the pain to go away. And growing up in church all of my life, knowing who God is, and knowing about prayer and about the power of prayer, and knowing that having how important it is to have a relationship with him. That particular time in my life, I had a choice. I could have easily just, given up and just said, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. A lot of people do. They just give up and just say, I'm just going to live life, the way I want to live it. And I didn't, I wasn't brought up that way. I didn't learn that way. I always learned that, the most important thing in life is, to have this relationship with God, and how important the power of prayer, and seeing, the power of prayer. And so I decided that at this particular time in my life, where I was probably at the lowest point in my life, I decided I was going to draw closer to God. And so during that time, especially right after my divorce, there were just times that I just, I would have to take time during the course of a day and just find time to get away and pray, because I was so broken and I was so out of it, because I was being married since I was 20 years old. So all of my adult life, that's all I knew, is being a mom and being a wife. That was my entire life. And so now at this point, I've got to find, a new normal. I've got to find out who I am. I often reflect back to when I went back to my maiden name. It was, that was kind of